Hello all, and here is the breakdown of the list I took to the Liam Dempsey event that he recently held at Element Games in Stockport for his community. The list is irrelevant as it was a fun event with an emphasis on meeting other members of the community, which is why I took something a bit fun and silly. The event itself was very enjoyable, which included a mega raffle, food and general good times with a very welcoming community. Liam himself backed a charity called Models for Heroes, which makes use of model kits as a form of therapy for veterans. I want to give this cause a shout out to boost awareness, and I've included links in the description. So here's the list itself. I took Dark Angels Army. This is the Knights of Redemption. It's the colour scheme is ripped off of the Angels Redemption, but it's quartered instead. So first up is the HQ choices. I took a captain on bike. It is a firstborn captain. I gave him Imperium Sword and Burning Blade because I was a bit boring, and he has Storm Shield as well to help survive a bit. I also took a Primaris Librarian who I made the Chief Librarian, so he had the +1 to cast, but other than that he was bog standard. And along with him, a Phobos Lieutenant. To be honest, he was on the side and I'd never used the model after painting it, so along he came. For troops, I kept it very simple. I took 2 units of 5 Infiltrators just to help with a bit of board control and to keep the big beast safe that you'll see later, and a unit of 5 Intercessors. Now filling in the elite slot was the Blade Guard Veterans. I think about every Space Marine player I saw at the weekend had a unit of these. You can't really leave home without them. I don't really care that they've lost the permanent transhuman. They're still good enough in my eyes. Now in the fast attack slot, I absolutely maxed it out using that cheeky Arcs of Omen detachment. So I had 2 units of 3 Outriders who obviously let me down as usual. A Storm Speeder Thunderstrike, which I still really like, but it always underperforms. It just doesn't seem to have the firepower, or I'm just bad at dice most likely. And 3 ATVs with the Onslaught Gatling cannons. Now in Devastator, these actually packed a hell of a punch now Armour of Contempt is gone. I really enjoyed using these, to be honest. And in the heavy support slot, just 3 Eradicators. That was all I required. Now on to the beast itself, the Mac Daddy, the Lord of War. This was the Estrella. Now I brought the Estrella along because when else do you get a chance to use it? That, and it meant I had to bring a hell of a lot less models to accommodate for it. Now in game 1 I played Chris. He is a member of Liam's Discord, and we had a very enjoyable game against his Black Templars. Now in turn 1, the Estrella could not shoot anything, which is absolutely brutal for something that is that many points in a list. But yes, to summarise, the Templars were cowards, they all hid. Turn 2, I had some abysmal rolls, but he pretty much killed a Redemptor, leaving it on about a wound or 2. Which is very poor performance for this tank because its main cannon should absolutely just rip through it, and the las cannon should finish whatever the main cannon couldn't eat. And turn 3, it pretty much annihilated a unit of his Blade Guard. Now sadly by this point it didn't get a turn 4 because Helbrecht and his 10 Terminator goons just beat the crap out of it, to be honest. Didn't stand a chance. I have seen less brutal things on some unsavoury sites online, if I'm honest. This is what I was really here for, which was the more community side of things, the more fun side of things, where we got together with myself and 5 other players and we had a mega game, 6,000 points aside, and it was a lot of fun and it was very silly. So on my side we had the person I'm going to name as Tau James, because I just ripped on him for being a Tau player, which I think is fair enough. He was also a very good player, he did a hell of a lot of damage on our side of the team. There's obviously myself with the Dark Angels and the Estrella, and Pete down the other side of the table, who unfortunately I didn't really talk to too much because he was down the far end of the table, scrapping it out with the Templars that Chris had brought. Which brings me to the other side. We had Brom with Ultramarines, Chris with his Black Templars, and Stephen, the fellow opposite me, who'd also brought Ultramarines. Now me and Stephen had quite a lot of laughs. There was a point he even bribed me with a chocolate bar, so I charged my unit out of a building into his Blade Guard. The unit in question was Infiltrators, so obviously they got butchered, but I had a chocolate bar, so I didn't really care. Dreas in this game did work. I mean, turn 1 it took out a Brutalis Dreadnought. Turn 2 it killed a repulsor that was right in its face. Turn 3 it killed the Hellblasters, and although the presentation here says a captain, I call it the captain but it was a chaplain on bike who was dictating what I had to do, because otherwise he was going to come and slap me up with one of the 52 benedictions of fury that were present on the gaming table for this one game. Turn 4, it slapped down an impulsor and some of the Nerf Marines with their t-shirt launchers, but turn 5, Bobby G just got into it and basically gang shanked it. So that was the end of the Estrella, but I was mega impressed it lasted this long. Now, I don't want to give the wrong idea. The rest of my army was absolutely annihilated. It was literally, this was my one-trick pony, and I was just clutching at it with all straws. I didn't even leave Devastator Doctrine. But overall, with that game, it was very fun, and what I think these kind of events are about, just getting together with people, meeting them face to face, and just having a silly time. If you do wish to take part in any narrative content, we have our campaign pack, Grandfather's Cauldron, which is now live. Also links in the description should you want to go and follow that as a nice way to narratively play out the edition. We are giving away a Warhound Titan. Now, we're not really in the algorithm, because if we were, people would be eating this up. We want to hit 2,000 subs before we give it away, but if we get close, we will still give it away. Thanks for watching, and keep crusading.